budget.
Yeah,
One
we-
person, yeah.
Alright,
Alright,
let's get going.
alright, I'll open the meeting. Thank you all for coming. Those that came anyway, and those that
And
are
Zoom.
virtual. Randy, can you hear me okay? Excellent, thank you. Alright, so I guess you wanna take it from here?
Yeah, I guess we'll start off by the last meeting that we had. The increase was substantially more than 4%. And, the selectmen took to heart what the budget committee at that time said, that they wanted it less than 4%. And if you look at the 2026 budget, where it says, it's actually the highlights, it's this page right here, it just says budget at the top.
The budget notes? No.
At the very top, it says the preliminary operating budget. And I guess it's not preliminary, it's actually gonna be the proposed budget, is
That you
just,
have to look in the back.
Now I have to go in.
is,
Okay, thank you.
This one.
I know, he's trying to get the big news out. Go for it.
yeah, it's only 60,000. It's only gonna be $60,586 more than last year, which is a total of 1.7%.
Drum roll, please.
That's,
Big drum roll.
that's the proposed budget, the operating budget. If you follow down this line, that's a 3.5% wage increase across the boards for the town employees. As we said the last time, the consumer price index is up by 2%. I had, the last sheet that I gave you gave the percentages of what the wages were towards the total overall budget. And I apologize, I did not get a chance to do that tonight. So, I don't have the total percentage of what wages are towards the budget, but, moving on down. The healthcare, as I said last time, the healthcare, we went back to the health trust. There's been some changes in some of the operating budget lines since we last met. Let's see. I'm going down through the lines. Building inspection actually was reduced instead of, just a small change. The big one is the police department. The wages are increased for retention and recruitment. We did a 3.5% COLA and retention bonuses, and we cut one vacant position. They've been carrying one vacant position now for over a year. And, we met with the police chief, we've talked about things. The police chief wanted to institute a step system this year, for the police officers, and was gonna be a fairly substantial increase to the wage line, particularly if we kept that third full-time police officer there. The selectmen talked to the police chief, met the other day, and so what we're gonna do is, give them a 3.5% COLA, offer them some, retention bonuses, and ask the police chief, I met with him today, he's gonna do a study for 2027 budget, a report, so to speak, similar to the MRI report from 2005 and the Merrimack County report from 2015 that, gives, an overview of the police department needs in the town of Canterbury. Call volume, what time the calls are, how many people, full-timers they need to run that, and what a wage should be for those, based on the surrounding towns and communities similar to Canterbury. We haven't been able to fill that position, that vacant position. We offer healthcare, retirement, take-home cruiser and a wage that, is probably a little less than the middle of the pack of what the towns that we look at. However, that changes the hourly rate for these police officers and the benefits change pretty much daily.
Are the retention bonuses, are they a percentage or are they a flat rate?
It's a percentage of what their annual income is. So we're trying to make it so they would make as much money as they would have gotten if the chief's step system was introduced in 2026. So that would retain them for a year and hopefully, and then coming up. One of the concerns is not only the hourly rate wages, but the extended shifts that they have to cover work based on what they're trying to cover for hours in the town. One of the police officers.
Overtime hours?
Well, some of them are, one of the officers is working, I think it's 2 16-hour shifts on the weekend. He covers weekends and he works 2 16-hour shifts and then fills the rest with regular time or overtime as needed. So there's a quality of life issue that goes along with the need for pay, so, but again, we're hoping that we can hold on to the people we have, and then for another year and have the police chief give a fairly comprehensive report on the needs of the town, and then budget for that as needed for 2027. So, that's one of the big ones, in the budget. Let's see, moving on down, some other changes, Pennacrook Rescue, we got the number for Pennacrook Rescue. It only increased, $1,888 or just 1% over last year. They have changed the way they figure our costs, what our stipend is to support them. And it's not based just strictly on population anymore, it's based on call volume and population, there's a formula that they use. So our increase this year was not substantial. However,
The county putting in also?
the county,
No?
at this time, no. But the county budget is not finalized. Beth and I went and met with the county and representatives from Bosquen and Pennacrook Rescue a couple weeks ago, and they are going to discuss, right now, in the terms of the way things have worked with Pennacrook Rescue, it's a 3-legged stool. We have Canterbury, Bosquen, and Salisbury that offer a stipend to Pennacrook Rescue, and that covers their operating costs, basically their salary for their people, and then fuel and things like that. Any money that they get from reimbursements from insurance companies for patient care goes into their capital reserve account to purchase new equipment. Ambulance, cots, cardiac monitors, things like that. So what the hope is between Bosquen and Canterbury is that the county will opt into this and make it a 4-legged stool, so to speak, to have them, because their call volume is actually 40% of the calls in Bosquen.
Not surprised.
And Bosquen cost for supporting Pennacrook Rescue went up almost $200,000 this year. That's an increase.
So that stayed the same even with that new calculation? So I
Correct.
was expecting ours to be more too.
Ours was reduced because of the
Call
their
volume.
new calculations they
Yeah.
take into call volume. And our call volume has actually decreased in the last 5 years, so that has helped us, so, that's not to say don't call Pennacrook Rescue if you need them.
Yeah. That's huge.
Let's see,
That is huge.
so the pet rescue was a change, the library, so we met with the Board of Selectmen the other day, spent a couple hours going over.
Board of Trustees, you mean?
Pardon me?
The Board of Trustees?
No, the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, all right.
Monday.
Okay,
We spent a
that's right.
couple
Sorry.
hours,
I jumped ahead.
couple hours going over the budget and trying to figure out both police and library to see what we wanted to do. I think the budget committee had told us last time that they wanted the library budget to be $265,000. That was with a placeholder with the healthcare. So the select board went to the library and told them that. And, with the healthcare, it ended up bumping that operating expense to $300,000. So that's what the selectmen told the library trustees on Monday night, that the town would fund through tax dollars, $300,000. The rest would be, any costs over and above that would be borne by the trustees of the library. The budget is going to look a little different this year. If you look at your budget spreadsheet, you will see that there is one line for the library, and that is the bottom line, and it's $300,000. Which is an increase over last year of $42,000 or 16.3%. And I will say, we did not break down the library's budget in this budget. However, we are asking the library, we talked to the library, and what we're probably gonna do is have this budget spreadsheet show this, and then we will put in a separate page with the library trustees report, which will show the totals for each line. It's not gonna break it apart with what's paying for tax dollars, what's being paid by trust funds. It's gonna be the total, because our current budget has two lines for books, magazines, and material. One in the trust fund and one in tax dollars. So what we're doing, we're gonna just combine that and show this is what the total library budget is combined, and it's $371,660. So the library trustees in 2026, unless something changes, will be funding $71,660 out of their trust fund money. And the town tax dollars will fund $300,000.
How much, 71,000?
Yeah, it'll be, their total budget will be $371,660.
And they're funding how much out of the trust fund?
$71,660.
Oh,
The tax dollars are
sorry,
$300.
$300,000. Got it.
So that's a fairly significant change in the way we set up our budget spreadsheet. Again, we met with the trustees the other night. The selectmen explained all this, they were okay with it, and so we're gonna move on with that. I think for the operating budget, I think that's fairly close to what we were last time as far as changes.
I do have one question on the audit.
Yep,
Are we still with the same company,
so we are with Plodzik and Sanderson,
right?
which is the same company we've been using for the last 3 years.
Just it's a pretty big increase.
So that includes, we had to hire an actuarial to look at the insurance and retirement costs, because it's required for the audit now, that we play out those costs. In years past, and Jan, I'm sure remember that our old auditors said that was the retirement system, they depended on the retirement system to provide any numbers that they might need. That's no longer the case, the laws have changed, and we have to report those numbers in our audit.
Thank you.
So we had to hire an actuarial to do that. And it's, we've done a 5-year contract with them. It's $3,500 for the first year, and then $1,500 in the out years. And the cost of the auditor actually went up a little bit also. So that's the reflection of that increase.
And they do a great job.
They actually do, I think, the transition to that company over our last company has been very smooth, and they do a very, very good report, and the staff is very, very happy with it. We have a good working relationship with it. And it's not just the audit, we ask them questions throughout the years, financial questions, and they, get back to us usually within a few hours, if not a day. So I think we're very fortunate to have this company, do our audit.
Good, thank you.
Moving down to warrant articles, there are been some changes on there. Go ahead, Bob.
Maybe this is out of sequence, maybe.
Sure.
I always ask, what's the income side of this budget? Do we
Um,
have any?
Yes, we
Does
do.
anybody
Yes,
ever
we
give
do.
us anything?
If you look at the budget spreadsheet,
Yeah,
for one portion of it, you can see in the,
was that what the offset is?
those are offsets,
Okay.
yep, and you can see the offsets, let's see, let me get down to that line. The total offsets are, $42,419 of what we have for offsets, planned offsets. Some of them are most likely gonna change if we have a change of staff or, there may be some changes, but that's what we're anticipating is $42,419 in offsets. As far as other revenues, we're looking good as far as our tax collection is concerned. We do not have too many delinquent taxpayers. Revenues from the state have remained fairly constant, so to speak. There have been some reductions. There have been some, in the past 3 years, we've received extra revenues, based on the state budget, where they've actually collected more money than they thought, and they've sent that out to towns. I saw an article where the state budget is actually not in very good shape right now.
Right.
So I don't anticipate getting any extra money from them this year, so, in '26. But the rest of the money, the highway block grants and things like that, the rooms and meals, there has been a reduction in the rooms and meals. They capped that through legislation last year. I don't know, it's still a question on how that's gonna affect the towns, NHMA has put out some information on that, and they're predicting some shortfalls in places, in the money that goes back to the municipalities, but again, that depends on how many people come and visit the state and stay in hotels and eat out, so, more or less an economy-driven issue, so. But other revenues seem to be more or less, similar to what we've been.
Well, okay, just help me understand. On the first page of the budget draft, 2025 offsets, it says 11,638. Is there a budget offset for 2026?
Yeah.
Is there a set of lines with that? Am I missing something?
The estimated offsets are on the far right of the same page.
Oh.
Scroll over to the right.
You know,
Take your finger, scroll over.
The estimated '26 offset, the
Yeah.
total is all the way to the
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bottom line, that's where that
Yeah, you
42,000
can stop, I'm
is.
embarrassed now.
Yeah,
No, no.
that's okay, it's alright, please, Any more questions on the operating budget?
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the wages,
Yes.
it included the paid time off, unpaid paid time off, right?
Yes.
How's that gonna work going forward?
I think that remains to be seen, honestly,
I don't
Jan.
know.
So, as you're aware, probably more than anybody in the room, except maybe Ken, when our employees don't work, there is no one to cover them.
Right,
So, they're kind of forced to not take time off. And we thought, the board thought, that it was unfair to have them lose the money. So, at this point, this is a one-time, non-precedent setting payout. But obviously, we've gotta have some discussions for the future.
so is this calculated on 2025 vacation sick
I
time?
believe-
No, it's gonna be on 26.
Right.
We've closed, the problem is we closed the books on 25,
Right,
so we have to figure this into the 26 budget.
cause I know when I left, I had a lot of time to keep.
Correct.
So is that, going forward, is it gonna be, you can still carry 1 year forward and that's it?
2 years,
Right.
2
You
years
don't have 2
max
years of-
accrual,
Right,
2 years max accrual,
right.
and if you don't use it, you lose it.
So this is gonna be like 2 years worth,
Correct.
okay,
Correct,
Alright.
and well, this is a unique situation where there was reduced staffing at the highway department, there was
Reduce staffing at.
Transfer
transfer
station.
station,
Yeah.
so we started looking at what people, how much time they would have lost in 2025 because they didn't take vacation.
Yeah.
So the selectmen talked about it and said, because of the reduced staffing, it was kind of unfair because
They stepped up.
you need somebody to be there. If they weren't there, then we couldn't operate. So they decided to pay out that time that they didn't use this year and this year only, and we're hoping we can increase staffing to avoid that in the future.
But there is a policy in place that states the status of accrued time.
Correct,
yes.
and that policy is
And you're
not changing.
that.
We're not
No.
changing that policy, no.
Bill, can I ask one question while we're in that section? Cal, would you check the number for, line 35 on wages?
Can you use this, 'cause I don't have a line numbers.
Oh. If you tell me where I find it in this.
Which wages?
For the, paid over to the offset, what we're giving to the police officers as this one-time
So if you go
payout.
to the police section,
Yes.
Page 6,
Which, yeah,
yeah,
7?
6.
6.
All right. So I've got it right here, so I could be on top of things. Okay.
so, you see how, like, you can't really see it in here very well, but on, like, Chief Crotty, the 2026 budget is 97,000, and it's 14.7%. Built into that is he only got a 3.5% COLA, but built into that line is the retention bonus.
So what's?
All right, now I'm
his
not,
salary?
I'm not seeing his name here.
It doesn't say.
Police chief, all
Police
right,
chief salary.
all right. So this is what I'm, let me show Scott what I'm looking at. So these are the numbers we agreed on, but for this officer, it's 14, that doesn't look like a right number.
Yes, so this is something that's new as of today.
Oh.
Because when you discussed it on Monday, basically I did the math wrong. We thought that the retention bonuses were gonna be equal to or more than if they had done the step program. So I calculated that wrong. So on Monday, you agreed to
10% plus 1,000?
10% plus 1,000.
Yes, and that makes sense for these first three numbers.
Westgate and Dumas, if the step program had been implemented, the actual difference between what they would have been paid for Dumas, the actual difference in order to make it the same is $9,900.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jordan Westgate, the difference is $14,000.
Yeah, I guess that's why I wasn't expecting, from what we talked about on,
Yep, so you can change that, I just put that in as a placeholder, because
whatever makes it the same as what we did for everyone else. It just seemed, when we did the math, we all did the math on Monday, it wasn't, they were more equal than this. So I just wanted to double check that with new numbers, that 14,000 is still
so
correct.
it depends on what you want to do. So when you discuss the 10% plus 1,000,
Yeah,
those numbers were correct on Monday.
yeah,
If the intent is to make the salary in 2026 equal to what they would have gotten if the STEP program had been implemented, but not memorialize it, just put it as a bonus, then that's what these numbers are. So-
I do not recall that about making it equal to the step.
Okay,
I
then
believed
can
it was
put back.
10% plus 1, what do you read? And we can go back and check at our notes, but,
So the idea, at least in my mind, is that they not lose money over what the chief had proposed with the step system. That's why the change, that's why the numbers changed between when we talked about it and tonight.
then I guess I would have expected the other three to be larger, not equal to kind of what we talked about. I just-
Technically, the chief would go down because he had the smallest raise into the steps, so his would be reduced. And then I believe Westgate would see the biggest increase because he had the biggest proposed increase in the steps.
Right.
And then Dumas was the newest guy, so he would have probably in the mid-range because he's full-time, and then Dupuy is the part-timer.
Correct.
Right, okay, then that's what this reflects. I was just surprised when I saw it, cause that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, the numbers definitely changed. Ken made me aware of it this morning,
Oh, okay,
so.
Well, I
I
think
think-
you better be prepared to explain that
14%.
Yeah.
difference, because that's a flag somebody's gonna say, how come?
No doubt.
and quite frankly, I wanted it explained to me a couple more times too.
Yeah, and certainly we have time to do that.
All right.
But the idea with these, and we wanna keep these officers. And we are middle of the pack on the low side for what we're paying our officers. So what's happening, there's a term that's been around for a few years now called poaching. And what happens is we train these officers up, get them all outfitted, all good to go. And then somebody comes along and says, oh, we'll pay you, 1,000 more plus a $10,000 bonus, sign-on bonus. And we lose them. And as we have seen with the position we've eliminated for the 2026 year, we can't fill these vacancies. So my hope is we will keep these young officers and be able to retain them,
Do
so.
we have contracts going forward?
I think we have, Ken, don't we have contracts when a new officer is hired?
We only have a contract if we send them to the police academy.
Yeah,
We do not have contracts, the only contract we have is with the chief.
right, with all, as you know, with all our
Yeah,
departments.
with the department heads, we have contracts, but not with the individual police officers.
Yeah, it's a very competitive right now, so
Oh, they're all, every department's looking.
they are, yeah.
But I think the long-term hope is that whatever step program we come up with, it fits the town for the town's needs. So I think we all sort of agreed that this would be the reasonable stopgap for a
Yeah.
year.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
but,
concerned about the 14.7.
agreed, and I think Bob is absolutely right, that's gonna raise a red flag at town meeting, and we'll have to explain it, but.
Yeah, and then next year, you're gonna show the 2026 budget being 97,000, you only earn 94,000,
Correct. It might be less.
right?
Yeah, that is correct,
It probably,
Right.
it probably will be less.
Right.
yeah.
But we have to, we don't have a line for bonuses or,
Right,
and so we have to put it somewhere, so that's how we put it.
Yeah, and in all honesty, we wanted time, as Calvin said, we wanted time to come up with a plan that's gonna fit Canterbury. And what we can afford.
yep, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
thank you.
I know that you may not be able to answer this, but I'm assuming with such a significant retention bonus that these employees have stellar records, they've had great years, there's no active complaints. I just want to put that out there. I hope we're not retaining people for the sake of retaining people, but I would expect for dollars amounts this big to be stellar employees.
So, complaints, Randy, are problematic in law enforcement. Having worked as a police officer, people will file complaints out of spite. So, I will tell you that complaints are investigated thoroughly, but I can't sit here and tell you there haven't been complaints. I think that is just a fact of law enforcement. When you go arrest people, some will file complaints just out of spite. So, and some will file legitimate complaints, not to minimize it, but, I've certainly seen both.
There's personnel evaluations done by the police chief, as same department heads do evaluations, annual evaluations. And those evaluations, the individuals are brought to me or brought to the chief. And if he feels there's an issue, he brings it up to me. Their evaluations this year reflected, no issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the operating budget?
And one,
Yeah.
on the EMT, is he part-time?
Yes,
That's a pretty good salary for a part-time employee.
so that reflects not just the one employee, that reflects that position. So the person we have up there now, her bachelor, works 3 days a week, and then they fill the other 2 with per diem shifts. They hire someone from our call department to work that shift. So it's 5 days that are covered, but only 3 by Herb. And then, so that covers that EMT position. And if you look, we don't pay benefits, so
Right,
we're actually paying a lot less than we were previous.
so Herb's getting 3 days and.
Herb's there 3 days, and then they
They're all under
hire.
that one budget, they're all
Pardon
under
me?
that one budget.
They're all
line.
under that one budget, yes. Yep,
Thank you.
yep, that's just EMT coverage for the town for Monday through Friday. That's not just one person.
Thank you.
How is it that, we changed to Loudon Rescue
Yes,
from Belmont?
correct,
I noticed that, and we've had Belmont for years,
correct.
was there some issue or just?
The fire chief, fire chief met with Belmont a few times and met with Loudon and felt it was, better to have Loudon cover that section of town versus
Yeah, I love
Belmont. So,
Up on road, perfect. Skip right over.
alright, any other questions on the operating lines? We'll move down to the warrant articles.
Are
So,
these all, our generated or are they, citizen generated, some of them?
the warrant articles,
Yeah.
these are all, proposed by the Board of Selectmen at this time. They have the filing period for petition warrant articles. I'd have to look at my dates, but I can't remember, we haven't received any yet. But I can't remember what the actual dates are. I could look it up if you wanted me to.
Okay, but it is,
But
they're
so-
all ours.
These are all generated by the Board of Selectmen. So there's a slide-in water tank, and again, we had a lot of these on here at our last budget meeting, for $18,000, and that's gonna come from, highway, equipment cap reserve fund. Replace, highway truck T1, and again, cap reserve account money for that. Replace the fire department rescue 1, same thing, they're gonna use cap reserve funding for that. A new one is purchase a new battery-operated hydraulic rescue tools for the fire department. 40,000 from the firefighter equipment cap reserve and $10,000 in taxes. The fire chief, the rescue tools they have now are operated by a gasoline-powered engine with a hydraulic pump on it, and they have hoses that hook the tools. They would like to buy some new battery-operated ones. The battery-operated ones have been around for a while, they've been around long enough that they feel that they've proven themselves, and they're much easier to use. You don't have to have a gasoline engine running with a whole bunch of noise and depend on hydraulic lines that might not be long enough, because the power unit has to be set on a level ground. So this is a much more efficient and easier to use system, so he'd like to do that. Cap reserve accounts, we're looking for 139,000 this year. Again, we added the bond, we had added to put 50,000 in for a fire truck, which we didn't have last year. But we also reduced the contribution from the to the rescue truck cap reserve account from $12,000 to $8,000. We're looking at a copier for the town office for $4,000. I tried to print a bunch of copies of this off tonight, and I successfully printed 4 copies, and then the copier jammed and got all accordioned up, and that was the end of that. So,
Old.
that copy machine is quite old, and it's outlived its time. We talked about a waste oil burner the last time, we went back and forth, there was some questions about it, and the selectmen would like to fund that with tax dollars. There were some questions whether we could actually put one in, whether DS was allowing them. Yes, they do. I contacted the manufacturer and our engineering firm and was assured that DES does allow them to be installed. We are still in the situation where we're getting rid of our used waste oil through a local company that takes it for nothing. However, they have in the past stopped taking it or refused to take it. And if we have to contract with Clean Harbors or another hazardous materials waste company, the cost is right around $10,000 each time we have to pump the tank. So for $20,000, we could make sure that we don't have to worry about having to call that and spend that money. Another new one is the Packer truck. I think we discussed the Aries report the last time around, and the problem is the Packer truck right now is really reached the end of its life. The hopper in the back of the unit is rusted through again, so we have to put more money into it. We've already put almost $15,000 into it this year. There's an issue with the turbocharger. It's got 20,000 hours on the motor. John is concerned that it is not gonna last much longer. A used Packer truck, we've seen them advertised anywhere from 120,000 to 150,000. And they're 5 to 6 years old. One of the things that we looked into was putting a electric hydraulic system, electric hydraulic pump separate with quick connects, so we can connect it to the new Packer truck and that way we wouldn't have to run while it was sitting there during the day while they were using it. And the cost of that is about $20,000 to put one of those pieces in place. This would give us an opportunity to look at the areas report and really try to get some feedback from the residents on the areas report, the options that they listed, and come up with a long-term plan for the transfer station. And so that's where we stand with that. And there's no capital reserve account for that, so that would be all tax dollars.
Well, is there a way we could get a bank loan for 5 or 10 years to finance that instead of putting,
It's too late to go for a bond for that right now. We can't do a bond for that, for this year. We'd have to wait until 27.
would we go with the bond if we do this, or would we just take it out of taxes?
I guess it depends on, if you start looking, if you go through, in the section where, of your notes, where it lists the second session, it lists the warrant articles and what the tax impact to each warrant article would be.
No.
Can you give me a page or something?
Under each warrant article, it's on, none of the
Oh,
budget.
it's on,
Yeah, under each warrant article, it shows the impact.
oh, right here.
Yep.
Okay,
It's warrant article 15.
Yep, so warrant article 15, you can see the estimated tax impact for a $400,000 home is $165.41.
I did have a question about that too, when we look at how it's worded, since we're thinking about, 150 for the Packer truck and an additional 20 for the retrofit, and the warrant article just says the total price for the purchase.
We may have to reword that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know how specific we had to be about what we're doing after we purchase.
I mean, we have done a great job of setting aside money in funds, capital reserve funds, for a long time, so congratulations, it's great that we have those reserve funds. I was just curious about that one, so.
Yeah, and I think this is an outlier, we've always tried to plan ahead,
Yeah.
and this is one that we did not plan ahead for. And I don't know why,
For the Packer truck?
yeah,
But that gives us the time to plan ahead a lot more for the rest of the transfer station.
correct, yeah.
And figure out exactly what we wanna do and how to start saving for it, so
Right.
we figured it was a good trade.
And the other money, item for the warrant articles is to establish a capital reserve account for the salt shed and put $25,000 in it. Our salt shed is in kind of rough shape, and, we've looked at other salt sheds, what the cost for other salt sheds, and they run,
Crazy.
anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000, depending on what you get. So we thought the good idea would be to establish a capital reserve fund to replace that bill.
Cause we know we need that.
Yeah,
We will be needing that, yes.
Yeah, can't live without that.
And there are other warrant articles, there's one each to establish a restricted fund for both the police department and the fire department for, off-duty detail pay. I think we talked about that the last time. And then there was another one for, the Article 18 is to authorize the selectmen to accept up to $6,000 from the Community Power Coalition adder funds. And I think if you've been, so with community power, when it was first established, If people opted up on community power, there were what's called adder funds, which was an additional cost that the purchaser wanted to pay per kilowatt hour. And that went into a savings account, so to speak, and that money that goes directly to the town. So we have some money that we got from the first year that we did this. And we need to establish a cap reserve account to put that money away. There's also a warrant article on the Sam Lake Expendable Trust.
Wait, I'm sorry, excuse me, Ken, we already have the cap reserve fund for that, correct? We need to.
Yes, we have to put it in.
We just have to put it in.
Yeah, we have to, this
Yeah,
is, unfortunately, this is one of those where the DRA requires us to say, we're gonna put that money into a cap reserve account. So, the Sam Lake Trust, we've had a cap reserve account for the Sam Lake, property for many years. We've put tax dollars into it, and we've also put money into it from the trust that we were forced to take a forced distribution from the interest earned on the trust. There has been a change in the tax laws and DRA, and our auditors tell us that we have to separate that money out. So any of the money that is distributed from the trust has to go into its own separate account. It has to be separated from tax dollars that we put into it. We don't have those numbers yet. We have to look at what we did, because I know we put money in when we're gonna do the renovation, and then we started getting the forced distribution. So we have to do, we're working with the trustees of the trust funds to come up with the calculations to determine how much tax dollars might still be left in that versus how much trust fund money might be in that. So,
So if there's tax dollars left,
yes,
what can that be used for?
that's gonna be, it can still be used for the Sam Lake House.
Could be
Property.
used for like a
But-
copier, or,
It could be,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be, well,
I don't know, but
that's
we
the
only
other,
need to
that is
determine,
the other,
yeah.
there is a question out there that it says it's for the betterment of the property of Sam Lake.
Right,
That's
Or is it the Sam
gonna be
Lake homestead
determined
or
at
whatever?
some point
Yeah,
by somebody
place.
other than
nice, that's it.
the Board of Selectmen, myself. My guess is if, cause there's been some questions about what is the Sam Lake property, what does it include, and what can it be used for?
right, I know it's been ongoing for a while.
So, I think it would be my thought that we would use it for infrastructure to be safe, because then we could say, no, it's used for the betterment of the property, and we can say the infrastructure, whether it's the well, the water system, the heating, the cooling,
Yeah, that's
whether
why.
we need landscaping, anything like that, I think we could say that's property. If it's equipment, like office equipment, it might be tenuous.
Right.
So I would just soon try and let's err to the safe and say,
Property.
Have we budgeted anywhere for a cost for determining that? Because it's not going to be free, and we need to get that definition for home, place, and whoever we have to.
that would be a legal question. And my thought would be that we leave it alone until it is a challenge.
Don't trouble.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bob.
yeah,
Thanks, Bob.
You calling me trouble?
There's been no organized push, so to speak, that I'm aware of by anyone or any organization to say, this is Sam Lake property and we want some of that money. And until we get to that point, and if the selectmen say, I think at that point, the selectmen would ask our legal team for advice on it
Okay,
and.
Start there.
And go from there. Again, I don't wanna just spend dollars for the sake of spending dollars in
No.
case something happens.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And that is it for warrant articles.
Nice job.
Yeah. Good job.
Does that mean you know what it means?
Time for Manhattan, right?
Yes. I got you all trained.
Yeah, unless there's any other questions, I think that is where we're at. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to let myself or Cal know. We're gonna have our first public hearing in February, the first selectmen's meeting in February. At this point, these are the numbers we're going with, unless something happens between then and now. And if there are any drastic changes, we'll let you know.
Right. I think at some point you can send us the balances of the capital reserve accounts.
Oh, absolutely, yes, yep.
Everybody fight you.
So Bob, I don't know if this is correct, but if you look up last day to submit petition warrant articles in New Hampshire for 2026, February 3rd. Seems to be the date that
It's always
pops
the
up.
day after the selectmen's meeting.
Yeah.
Real quick, I do have, we discussed with our bank, TD Bank, we're carrying anywhere from $3 to $4 million on our unreserved fund balance at times when we're at full funding. We talked last year about investing some of that money in CDs, so we did. We put $500,000 in a 1-month CD and $500,000 in a 2-month CD. On the 1-month CD, we earned $1,488.76, and the 2-month CD, we earned $3,055.84, for a total of $4,544. We met with TD Bank, Mary and I met with TD Bank on Monday, and we're going to invest 500 in a 1-month, 500 in a 2-month, and 500 in a 3-month. It's called laddering, and the interest rate is almost a full percentage more than what we earn in our normal general ledger account. So we're doing what we can do to try and earn as much as we can for interest on our
That's awesome.
unreserved fund balance.
It helps.
And actually, I did have a question about that as well, because I didn't see when I was reading through this, where does the Conservation Commission's land use change tax fund live? It sounded like it was just a checking account, but I was like, that doesn't sound right.
It's a separate account.
But is it being invested, I guess is my question.
No, well, it's in our general ledger account.
Right.
It's $400,000,
Yeah, it's a pretty good amount.
over $400,000.
So that's part of what we can,
I don't know the legalities of that account can only be extended by the Conservation Commission.
okay,
So I don't know how we would invest on that.
can they invest it?
I don't know,
Okay,
we can check.
I think it seems like it would be worth checking only because, it's sitting there waiting for a project.
Yeah.
And until such projects come up, I know they're looking diligently for projects, but it's been accruing for a while. So I would think if we're looking at investing town money that,
And it continues to.
yeah, it does. So if that's,
Jan, I do have the totals of November for, the cap reserve accounts.
Okay,
Do you want me to give them to you now, or do you want me to just,
I'll take them,
alright?
thank you.
See if I can find them. There you go, right there.
Perfect, thank you.
how do
That's
people do
as
that?
of-
It's like a magic act.
That's the
Here's
end
the
of
piece of
November, 11:30.
In my next life, I'll be able to do that.
Yeah,
Or my third term or something, and then I'll be able to
There you go.
find it.
Instantly available.
Can't wait to be a cyborg.
Alright, I
We all
think,
set?
I think that's it,
Okay.
yeah.
Randy, anything from you?
Just wanted to let you know that that's a really good microphone and it picks up every whisper. Our conversation from you and Beth. Just something to keep in mind in the future. Even when everybody else is talking, it picks up you too.
Okay. Anything from anyone else?
One last thing, if you look at the total expenses for 2025, it shows it is over what we budgeted for.
That's
Ah.
actually a very good point.
So I want everybody to be aware that it shows we overexpended our budget. However, if you go to the next line over, there's $523,170 in revenue offsets. So we actually underspent our budget by $400,000.
That's what you get for going way over, looking at the last column.
Well, if you look at the revenue offsets, one of the big ones is under summer sand and gravel, because we spent $257,000 in gravel and stuff for the dirt roads, and that was ARPA money.
Alright.
We have to show we expended it somewhere in our budget, so that's a big reason why that budget is over. And then there's other grant money and things like that in the offsets that show. So if you're looking at just the approved budget and then the expenses, it looks like we overexpended our budget, but there was almost $600,000 in revenue offsets to show that, so actually, we didn't overexpend our budget.
So all the ARPA money's gone then,
The ARPA money has been
good.
expended, yes, yeah. I think that's all I have now.
Good.
Thank you.
Yes,
All right, motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much.
seconded,
All those in favor?
aye.
Thank you all. See you, Randy.